Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to be reviewing the first 10 questions of our benchmark in this video. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Amber saved a total of $3.20 over 5 weeks. She saved the same amount of money each week. How much money did Amber save each week? We have the word each in the question. Whenever we have the word each in the question, that automatically tells us that we are going to divide. Amber has a total of $3.20 and she saved them over 5 weeks. When we are dividing, the total goes on the inside of our division house. Therefore, the 5 goes on the outside. This is a set it and forget it problem. We're going to set the decimal and we're going to forget it. 5 times nothing gives me 3. Bring down the 2. 5 times 6 is 30. Sisters subtract. Brother, bring down the 0. 5 times 4 gives me 20. Sisters subtract and nothing left. The answer is 64 cents, which is letter C. Why did I divide on this problem? Because of the word each. Each told me to divide. I'm putting things into equal groups. Moving on to number 2. The hundreds model in the figure is shaded to represent the multiplying of two numbers. Which equation can be used to represent the shaded part of the model? We know that this is a decimal model because of the word hundreds there. For this problem, the best strategy to use is the highlighter. We are going to count vertically and horizontally. So let's start vertically first. There's 10 there. 20. 30. 40. That is one of my decimal numbers. 40 hundreds. We know that that's a worthless 0. Sometimes they'll include it, sometimes they won't. Now we need another highlighter because now we are going to shade in horizontally. So this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So we have 80 hundreds going horizontally. Therefore, we have a multiplication of 40 hundreds times 80 hundreds, or you can also say 4 tenths times 8 tenths. 80 here is way too much. 8 hundreds is too little. 80 hundreds, 40 hundreds. That one looks good. Those two numbers are in the wrong spot. The correct answer for number 2 is letter H. Moving on to number 3. Miguel's dog weighs 25 and 8/10 kilograms. Vincent's dog weighs 23 and 2,900 kilograms. How much more does Miguel's dog weigh than Vincent's dog? We have a very set of important words. How much more? How much more tells us to subtract. And what we want to know is the difference between Miguel's dog's weight and Vincent's dog's weight. So we are going to take the 25 and 8/10, making sure that we align those decimals because that's the most important thing about adding and subtracting decimals. 23 and 2,900 hundredths. I have an empty spot there, therefore I need to annex a 0. And now I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 0, I can't because the 0 is too small. Have to borrow from the 8. The 8 becomes a 7, and it lends 10 to this one, so it becomes a 10. 9 minus 10 is 1. 7 minus 2 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2, making sure you align that decimal, make sure you bring that one down, and then 2 minus 2 is 0. The answer is 2 and 51/100. Letter B. Why did I subtract? Because the question is asking me how much more. I want the difference. Moving on to number 4. George bought 3 peppers for a cost of 40 cents each. The model represents this situation. The 40 cents and the 3 are important, so they're numbers, I'm going to circle them. The each is also important. If I don't know what it means, we can always write the word get to try to figure it out. Remember, the T stands for total, which is multiplication. The E is for each, it's division. And the G is for groups, it's also division. Which equation shows how to find the total cost in dollars and cents of the peppers George bought? Total, we don't know the total, we're trying to figure that out. And if we're trying to figure out the total, then this is going to be a multiplication problem. What are we multiplying? We're multiplying the 40 cents times the 3. That eliminates F and G because the 3 and the 40 are wrong numbers, leaving us with H and J to be one of our answers. So what are we going to do? We're going to solve. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. Then I have 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal. 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal. The answer should be $1.20. That eliminates J because it has the wrong answer, making H my final answer. Why did I multiply in this problem? I multiplied because of the word each and I wrote the word get. And because I'm trying to find the total, making it the T within my get. Moving on to number 5. Mia's dog weighs 32 6/10 pounds. Letty's dog weighs 3 8 times as much as Mia's dog. What does Letty's dog weigh in pounds? Important word right there. It stands out as we're reading. Times means to multiply. We're going to take the 32 6/10, multiply it times 3 8/10, and now we're just going to apply our multiplying steps. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 8 times 3 is 24, 25, 26. Annex your 0. Eliminate the numbers you already used. Moving on to multiplying times 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6, plus the one that I carried is 7. And 3 times 3 is 9. Now I add my partial products. 8, 8, 13, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal. 1, 2 numbers behind a decimal. 123 88/100. My answer is D. Why did I multiply in this problem? Because we are wanting to know how many times. Repetition. Repetition means to multiply. Moving on to number 6. A definition of a financial term is shown in the box. A tax that includes Social Security and Medicare taxes and is paid by an employer. I know that if I have an employer, I have a job. Which term best fits this definition? Payroll tax. I know that's a tax that I pay in my job. Property tax. That would be taxes that I pay in my home. Or if I just have a plot of land. Or if I have a farm. Or a ranch. Anything that has to do with having a piece of land would be property tax. Sales tax is taxes on things that we buy. And gasoline tax does not exist. There's no such thing. The only one that talks about a job, the one that best fits, would be letter F. Keyword here, employer, Medicare tax, and Social Security tax. All of those taxes, they take them out of our paycheck when we have a job. Moving on to number 7. A parking bench is located at 16 3/4 feet due north of an elm tree. A fountain is located at 9.5 feet due south of the same elm tree. What is the distance in feet between the park bench and the fountain? So here's a tree. North is this way. And if north is that way, then south should be the opposite way, which is this way. We have a bench over here. And we have a fountain on this side. What we want to know is the distance between the bench and the fountain. We want to know the total distance. If we want to know the total, then we're going to be adding 9.5 plus 16 3/4. When we are adding fractions, the most important part to remember is to have common denominators. We have a 2 and a 4. We do not have common denominators, so that's the first thing we need to find. I need to write my 2 and my 4, and I'm going to be writing the multiples. The multiples for 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'm going to stop at 8 for now. Moving on to the 4, 4, 8, 12, and we'll stop at 16 because we already found our common denominator. It's going to be 4. Now I need to ask myself, 2 times what equals 4? The answer is 2. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. 4 times what gives me 4? The answer is 1. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. Now I'm going to rewrite my new fraction. I have 9, and then 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4, so 9 2/4. And then I have 16, and 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 1 is 4. And again, this is addition. I'm going to bring my common denominator down, and now I'm going to add my numerators. 2 plus 3 is 5, and we come across a problem because we can't have a 5 on top of a 4. The 5 is too big, it's going to crush the 4. So what we need to do now is we need to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number. And I want to say that most of you made your mistake in this section here. To convert this improper fraction to a mixed number, what we need to do is we need to divide. Numerator inside, denominator outside. 4 times what gives me closest to 5? 4 times 1, 4. Sister subtract. There's nothing to bring down, therefore this is my remainder. My remainder goes up here on top of my fraction. This 1 is a whole number. It needs to be carried over to the whole number side. And this is my new numerator. So I am going to use my eraser. Erase this 5 because it's no longer a 5. We converted it into into a mixed number. My new numerator is 1, and remember this one I carried it over here. So then I have 9 plus 1 is 10, plus the 6 is 16. Carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So I have 26 and 1/4. My answer is A, 26 and 1/4. This one was a tricky one. You needed to find the total distance. You needed to add. You needed to find a common denominator. You needed to convert your improper fraction to a mixed number, carry, and then combine everything together. Correct answer, letter A. Moving on to number 8. Paula wants to buy 3 shirts and 2 belts. The shirts cost $16.89 each, and the belts cost $8.97 each. Paula has $45. Which of these amounts is the best estimate of how much more money Paula needs in order to buy the shirts? Very important word right here. Best estimate. Best estimate means that we need to round. How much more? We want to know the difference. Tells us that we need to subtract. We have a couple of numbers in here that are very important. We have the word each right here. Each shirt is $16.89, $16.89, $16.89. That's a repetition. And each belt is $8.97, $8.97, again repetition. So you have a series of steps we need to follow. So very important is to follow them in order. The very first thing we need to do is to round. We have $16.89 and we have $8.97. When we have decimals, the best thing to do is to round to the whole number. Circle the numbers to the right. 5 or more, I'm going to add 1 more. 6 plus 1 more, 7. And then the 8 and the 9 become worthless zeros. And this one, 5 or more, I'm going to add 1 more to the 8. 8 plus 1 more is 9. And the 9 and the 7 become worthless zeros. So the shirts are going to be $17 and the belts are $9. So let me take that 17 here. Applying now the multiplication. 17 times 3. 21. 3, 4, 5. 51. And now the 9. 9. And then there's 2 of them. It's 18. So to buy the 3 shirts and the 2 belts, to figure out the total here, we need to combine the 18 and the 51. $69. She has $45. And we want to know how much more she needs, which is a subtraction. 9 minus 5 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 24. The answer is H. Multiple things that we did. First of all, we rounded. Second of all, we multiplied by each thing that she's buying. Lastly, we figured out how much more she still needed from what she had. Correct answer, letter H. Moving on to number 9. The table shows the mass of 4 rocks. Which number sentence correctly compares the mass of 2 of the rocks? Important word right here is correctly. We're looking for the right answer. This calls for a 4-square check, where we're going to check letter A, B, C, and D. We don't really need the table. It's kind of trash. They're putting it in there to try to confuse you, but we don't really need it. What we need here is the answer choices. Very important about comparing and ordering decimals is to make sure you align them. 0, 4, 2, 9, 0, 4, 3, 8. The 0, 0 don't help me because they're the same number. 4, 4 don't help me either because they're also the same number. 2, 3. The 3 is greater than the 2, therefore the second number is the greatest. My symbol is facing the wrong way, so therefore that can't be the answer. Moving on to letter B. 438 thousandths. 483 thousandths. 0, 0 doesn't help me because it's the same number. 4, 4 doesn't help me either because it's also the same number. Moving on to the 3 and the 8. The 8 is greater than the 3, therefore the second number is the greatest. My symbol is facing the correct way. That may be my answer, but let's go ahead and check C and D. Making sure that you align those decimals. That is the most important part. We have an empty spot, so we need to fill in with a placeholder, which is a 0. 0, 0 don't help me know which one's bigger. 4, 4 don't help me either because they're the same number. Moving on to the 2 and the 3. The 3 is greater than the 2. The second number is the greatest. My symbol is facing the wrong way. Therefore, that can't be my answer because we're looking for the one that is correct. Moving on to the next one. It's saying that they're equal. So let's go ahead and check to see if they are correct. 438 thousandths is supposed to be equal to 43 hundredths. I have an empty spot, so I need to annex a 0. 0, 0 don't help me know which one's bigger. 4, 4 don't help me either because they're the same number. 3, 3 doesn't help me either because they're also the same number. Moving on to the next number. 8, 0. The 8 is greater. Therefore, if one of them is greater than the other, they cannot be equal. They are using the wrong symbol. The only one that is correct is letter B. Important word in this question was correct. We are looking for the right answer. Remember that in a question like this, they're either going to ask you which one is correct or which one is not correct. Moving on to the last one that we're going to be working on this video. Once you finish with this question, you can go ahead and move on to the next video. Number 10. Metal is often given a protective oxide coating that keeps it from rusting. This coating is less than 100 millimeters thick, which could not be the thickness of the oxide coating. Here we are looking for the one that is not less than, therefore we are looking for the one that is greater. When we are working with comparing and ordering decimals, the best thing to do is to write them vertically, making sure that we align those decimal spots. I need to annex a 0 there, and I'm just rewriting the number that we are comparing, which is 100ths. Now I'm going to compare. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 don't help me know which one's bigger because they're all the same. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 doesn't help me either. 0, 3, 0, 0, 1. The 3 is greater than all of them. And all the other ones would be less than because 0, 0, 0 are less than 1. The only one which is greater is letter G. Important word is not less, which makes it greater.